Hello again, fellow beach bum traders. I believe we have found a diamond in the rough that we want to share with you and do our due diligence and give you our conclusion on whether we want to watch LMFA, LM Funding America. If we want to add this to our watch list for potential buy next week, and we will go through our regular due diligence. This is one where doing some after-hours screening happened to uncover this potential diamond in the rough. I'm on the market screen of Webull. This is part of my regular routine to review the movers from the previous Friday to build our watch list for the next week. And again, you can find our affiliate link to Webull in the description box below. But I was going through and looking through the best performing industries on October 16th, again preparing to build our watch list for next week. And in the banking services, I noticed this LMFA was up 38% on Friday. And I wasn't sure exactly, okay, who's the LMFA? Is it a Chinese company? If so, we'd want to stay away. So I looked up LMFA in FinBiz, found out it's a US-based company, started to look at, do some due diligence on LMFA. We can see it made that pop on Friday. It has this support around 4, and I said, it's had some previous spikes, so that it looked kind of interesting. And just starting to look at the metrics, we can see it's a very low float, so that probably explains some of these sharp pops that we're seeing. And then I noticed, hey, look, it's trading below cash, below book. That looks very attractive. It's a financial company, so often they do trade below book, below cash. Credit services, and said, okay, well, let's see, what do they do? And I'm going to keep the surprise secret for just a few minutes, but okay, it says they provide funding to nonprofits. Okay, they're in Florida, they're in Tampa. That's kind of interesting. They're getting into medical insurance products. Okay, and they're trading below cash. We look at their financial statements. Looks like they got increasing revenue. Looks like they're profitable recently. If we look at their quarterly, it looks like they're profitable and increasing. So again, just from a very quick cursory look, they look interesting, so I wanted to dig into them a little more deeply and say, okay, well, what explains that pop on Friday, 38% increase on Friday? So we'll dig into it together, and we'll see if we can come up with a good explanation and decide if this is something we want to watch and buy next weekend or in the future. Okay, so how do we explain this pop on Friday, October 15th in LMFA? So we start scrolling through some of the news, and we can see, okay, on the 5th, that says they expanded planned cryptocurrency mining business. And then we look at the September 15th, and again says expands crypto mining business. Well, we saw in the description there wasn't any mention of crypto mining business, Bitcoin, any of that in their business description. So I believe, again, I mentioned this as potential diamond in the rough because, as we'll see, they're expanding into Bitcoin mining. So they purchased a number of Bitcoin mining, what they call rigs, at a significant discount, and they're planning to start mining Bitcoin. Again, they're in Tampa, Florida. They bought a bunch of machines at a significant discount, and they expect to be able to commence, as of this first article, in the second quarter of 2022, mining Bitcoin. Then if we look at the second article that came out in early October, they bought 4,000 more machines. So they've got a total of 5,000 machines and they're predicting that they're going to start generating 1,200 bitcoins per year in the beginning of second quarter 2022. Now, if we calculate using just a kind of ballpark average Bitcoin price of about 50K per Bitcoin, which again, it's so volatile, I'm just ballparking. Okay, if we say 50K per Bitcoin and they're going to generate 1,200 Bitcoin, well, that's 60 million per year. So, that's a significant amount of money in Bitcoin. So again, I have not heard of LMFA tagged as a Bitcoin miner in the past. The typical ones you hear of are Riot, Mara, companies like that. The Chinese companies are shutting down. They've been banned in China. And again, the CEO is pointing out that that's an opportunity for Bitcoin mining to move to the U.S. You'll also see in the second article that they are building custom rigs that are low carbon footprint. They're working with a company out of Miami. They're in Tampa. So it looks like they've got a good partnership to build up their data center to start mining in early 2022 and generate a significant number of Bitcoin miners. With the price of Bitcoin jumping up, into the 50s, I think it broke 60K on late last week. There's going to be a lot of hype, and again, this seems to be an unknown name in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining, which means as it gets found, it has the potential to really hit those spikes. So we'll do a little deeper digging, but that was an exciting find to find a virtually unknown Bitcoin miner to jump into while the hype in Bitcoin is hot. So I wanted to show you another piece of due diligence that we typically do on a company that we're not as familiar with, that I don't think I've shown you before, which is to look at their homepage, some of their social media. You can access a company's homepage pretty easily from FinViz. And again, you can find our affiliate link for FinViz in the description box below. But if you just hover over the company name, right click, you can click on it, or you can open it in another tab and it will jump directly to their homepage. So if we quickly look at LM Funding's web page, what I found interesting is there's no mention of their cryptocurrency mining, their Bitcoin mining. It's all focused on their funding programs. It was interesting that they do have a nice social media presence. They've got a YouTube channel, so that kind of tells me they're pretty hip, pretty with all the social media. That's positive. Probably have decent PR. We can see they've got some news. Again, I like to see that they've got good PR that will help to increase their stock price on news, distribute that. But again, the interesting thing is there's no mention of Bitcoin mining, cryptocurrency anywhere on their homepage that I could find in just a quick scan. So I also tend to add their Twitter feed to list. We've got a stock pick, stocks to watch list between several of our Twitter accounts, and you'll see I post some of the news when it comes out on positions we hold in our Twitter feed. So please also follow us on Twitter. But again, it was interesting. If you just scroll through some of the recent news from LM Funding, there's no mention of Bitcoin mining or cryptocurrency anywhere in there. So again, that just reinforces my belief that this is a pretty unknown future player in cryptocurrency, big player. They're buying 5,000 rigs. So again, this is something part of our typical due diligence is just look at their homepage, look at some of their social media. What does that tell us about the company? Is it professional? Is it current? That helps us get a picture of who they are and what can we expect. So I hope that helps. So, given all of our due diligence on LMFA so far, it looks positive, looks like something we want to watch, looks like something we may want to buy. Now it's to figure out the risk reward. Where would we want to buy it? What kind of price targets would we want to put to take profits and or sell? And if we kind of start on the FinViz homepage, we could kind of see that support level at 4. If we saw we've got these spikes at 781 is the top of that spike. We'll see when we get to Webull that these are after hours spikes. That one says 575. Again, we'll see in Webull in more detail. If we kind of zoom out to the weekly, kind of get a feel again for the risk reward levels, we can see that 4 level is pretty stable bottom. Looks like it's turning up. Again, positive. That's what we like to see. We can see the next support levels, maybe the 2-something-3, low 270 or so. So our risk, let's call it $1.30 or so. Potential reward, we saw 780, so got 380 reward to a 130 risk. That's almost 3 to 1. That's positive. We like 2 to 1 or better. So it looks good from this level. It doesn't look like we have excessive risk to the downside. So let's look at it in a little more detail in Webull. Here's the 5-day chart. We can see this pop up to 718 after hours. This was 645 on the 14th, which is interesting because it popped up late on the 14th, and then it was also up from its open on the 15th. It looks like it's kind of formidable flag after that pop. We can see it hit this low after hours on the 14th, and then it popped. So again, we can kind of see it has a tendency to pop after hours, which is important. The previous pop, that 781 pop, was at a 4 p.m. on after hours on a day. So this is important to know that if you're trying to put in a sell, you need to use an account like Webull that will support extended hours orders that will be active after hours. So another thing to note is if you're using a take profit order in Webull, that's not going to be active extended hours. So you need to put in an actual sell order that's active during after hours, because this guy tends to pop after hours. Again, it's a low float, so when it starts to move, it's going to move fast, and it's, as we can see, it doesn't tend to hold those gains. It tends to trail off pretty quickly. So again, you need to be nimble. Watch for this guy to start moving. When it starts moving, be ready to put in the sell. And we can see we're going to put a price target to buy around that $4 support level. Take profits, right below the spike, 717, 780, below the previous spike. And then if we want to hold it longer term, we can do that. Again, it's all dependent on what your profit goals, etc. Again, they seem to be in an uptrend and a turnaround, but we don't expect this Bitcoin mining stuff to really take off until early second quarter of 2022. So in the long run, I think this is very positive. Short term, we're looking for spikes on news to take profits, and there's a nice risk reward opportunity here. So we're going to add LMFA to our watch list for next week. Look for that to buy around that $4 support level. Look to sell somewhere 7 up. And again, these are after hour spikes. I don't see any pre-market spikes. But you're going to have to be nimble, watch for it to run to take your profits. So looks good. I hope this turns out to be a good profit opportunity for you all, and we think this is a diamond in the rough that we were glad we discovered by searching through the movers in Webull. Again, you can find our affiliate link to Webull in the description box below. Good luck and have a great trading week. Bye.